Have you ever felt like you were in the midst of a crowd but completely alone? And what if loneliness, instead of being a problem, could be a doorway to discovering incredible inner strengths? Here begins our journey. In a world connected by screens and social networks, why do so many people still feel alone? In this conversation, we will explore how loneliness can be a remedy for the mind and a path towards self-discovery. Most of us fear loneliness as if it were a malady to be avoided. However, throughout history, renowned thinkers have praised solitude as an exercise in expanding consciousness and inner freedom. Social psychology research indicates that chronic loneliness can harm physical and mental health, even being compared to harmful habits. But does that mean we should run from any and all silence? Not always. Understanding the difference between being alone and feeling alone is a key point in turning moments of solitude into opportunities for personal growth. By revisiting the text of Aristotle or Buddha, we discover how the idea of voluntary withdrawal permeates different cultures. Nietzsche added nuances to these reflections, showing that solitude can be a stepping stone toward rare insights. In the East, Buddha withdrew from urban centers to meditate in search of enlightenment. In the Christian tradition, there are accounts of spiritual leaders who faced deserts and forests only to return with clearer visions. But what they have in common is teaching us that loneliness, far from always being a burden, can be the womb of great transformations. When we withdraw of our own free will to reflect, organize ideas, or create something new, solitude can be liberating. On the other hand, forced loneliness, such as in the case of someone who lives isolated due to external circumstances, tends to bring suffering and insecurity. A polar explorer, for example, reported facing days of oppressive silence in an isolated cabin, but once he grew accustomed to it, discovered a calm that transformed his worldview. This shows that sometimes the initial process is uncomfortable, but the outcome can be transformative. We are social beings. We need contact with others, and the lack of that bond can destabilize our mental health. Research indicates that prolonged feelings of isolation increase the risk of illnesses, including depression. However, simply being around other people doesn't fix everything. There are those who are surrounded by crowds yet feel profoundly alone. Conversely, some individuals learn to take advantage of that empty space to better understand their true motivations, creating a rare point of balance. Artists, composers, and scientists report that their greatest inspirations emerged in moments of complete isolation. Away from others' expectations, original ideas and unique insights arise. Henry David Thoreau, for example, celebrated the company of silence in the woods and discovered that being physically alone did not mean being lonely. Rather, it meant being free to contemplate nature and his own reflections. This inner dive can reveal not only creative talents, but also allow for the review of values and priorities. One of the central pillars of well-lived solitude is the sensation of freedom. Without critical eyes around, we feel less pressure and can explore emotions and thoughts without censorship. The philosopher William Hazlitt viewed his solitary walks as the purest form of liberation. Without the presence of external judges, it's possible to question ingrained beliefs and discover more genuine worldviews. In contrast, even a simple stranger sitting next to us can remind us we're being observed, completely altering the experience of tranquility. In many tribal cultures, periods of withdrawal from the group are fundamental to mark important transitions, such as the passage into adulthood. In this journey, the individual learns to face the fear of darkness, of the wild, and of their own uncertainties. Only upon returning victorious from these experiences is one recognized as having mastered their mind and able to contribute maturely to the community. This ritualization of solitude reinforces its importance as a tool for building character and resilience. When we are alone, we soon hear whispers of insecurity, anxiety, and old traumas. However, this confrontation, though initially painful, can lead to valuable insights and an opportunity for healing. Some Eastern therapies inspired by Zen Buddhism recommend periods of strict silence to force the patient to face what tends to be swept under the rug. This process of internal cleansing allows the individual to acknowledge and process hidden pains, regaining control of their own story. True isolation has become rare in an era when it takes just one click to connect to hundreds of people. Paradoxically, this abundance of contacts does not eradicate the feeling of emptiness that many carry. Research shows that the relentless pursuit of online validation and stimuli reinforces our external dependence while silencing our inner voice. Interestingly, being constantly connected doesn't mean, in fact, establishing deep bonds. Thus emerges the contradiction. We are more networked than ever, yet we still feel alone. Who are we when no one is watching? It is in that space that we can perceive our most authentic flaws and virtues. Without the need to perform social roles, we can redefine principles and align our choices with who we truly are. Ancient and contemporary philosophers assert that introspection is the foundation of moral growth. It's impossible to mature without looking inward, and sometimes we need silence and withdrawal for this introspection to happen genuinely. In moments of solitude, questions like, "Why am I here?" or "What truly motivates me?" may surface with clarity. By freeing ourselves from external expectations, we make room for deeper, more authentic reflections. It is in this gap that we find the chance to develop our own value system. When we return to social interactions, we bring a firmer, more secure presence because we know what we truly believe. This process of self-discovery enriches both the individual and the relationships they build. In a hyper-connected world, sitting in silence can seem strange. Yet it is precisely these moments that allow us to refine ideas and sense our own mental breathing. While chronic loneliness is a health risk, conscious solitude can be an invisible antidote. Learning to enjoy your own company is a fundamental step toward enhancing bonds with others. Those who understand their shadows have the power to illuminate them, positively influencing themselves and the world around them. After all, discovering who we are may be the greatest adventure that exists, and silence is the invitation to enter. If this content resonated with you, leave a comment with your thoughts or share a moment when solitude brought you some kind of insight. Subscribe to the channel for more reflections and share this video with someone who could benefit from this topic.